good evening. Now I'm taking a risk with this episode as there's probably not a bunch of juicy content to fill the episode up with. But as long as it's 5 minutes bare minimum, then it'll work. And if the episode's good, that's a plus. One way we can lengthen out the episode is by telling you some stuff about what's going to be in the description. There's going to be some pretty kick-ass Halloween information in there. It took me a lot of research to figure this out. It took me a bunch of Google searching, so I guess if you were that dedicated, you could figure it out yourself, but I figured it out for you so you don't have to do the work. I don't really want to spoil anything, so go ahead and read that description. And you know what, while we're at it, let's just consider this the Halloween-themed episode for this year. I know we still got like almost 2 weeks left, but I can tell right now I won't come up with something other than this that'll be spooky. So yeah, this is the Halloween-themed episode. I mean, why the hell else would my room be this dark? With that said, let's get started. So, mysteries are a great thing. Like, really, they rock. I am so glad there's so much stuff that I don't know about, because if I knew everything, then nothing would be exciting, and I couldn't learn anything new. There's a lot of stuff that has happened on this earth that you will never know about. With the 107 billion people that have ever lived, I guarantee it. Makes me feel like there's more to the story. And I love when the story continues instead of just stopping. Because if it stops, then what now? What do we do? We're just going to be bored. So yeah, that's why detectives are a thing, to try to solve these mysteries, and I know they're usually meant for murder cases and stuff, but even still, we have other people analyzing stuff, even if it's not related to any sort of killing. Everybody likes to decipher something and try to figure it out. The point I'm trying to make here is, there's a mystery that comes from a very popular YouTuber known as Markiplier, which I'm sure you've heard the name of if you do a lot of gaming videos. Now, before I say anything else, I'm going to go ahead and mention this, but we need to set a few ground rules here. And you're like, what do you mean? I'm watching your video, what do I have to do? Well, if you know Markiplier to his core, and I want you saying anything in the comments, oh, I know what you're talking about, I know what the answer is, I know blah blah blah, just shut up. If you watch all like 5,000 plus videos he has, zip the lip. Because we're trying to make this a mystery for people who aren't familiar. That's why I use the word foreign in the title instead of the actual country. Which leads us to our second rule: if you know your world geography, don't say anything. With those two things said, I think we're clear. He has a video known as Cellar Door, which he uploaded in 2013. Yeah, it's been a long freaking time. That's when I first started watching Markiplier, was in 2013. And back then, his channel would have only been like a year old, maybe even less, but I knew him for being the scary gamer. Like, if there was ever any time I wanted to watch a scary video game or whatever kind of game, Markiplier would be the guy I would watch. I'm sure there's a bunch of other gamers that are mostly scary gamed as well, but you know what, Markiplier isn't just for fears and stuff, but the point is, in his Cellar Door video, it's basically just an online web browser game. I don't even know if it's still up anymore, but the goal of the game is to collect marbles for this girl who apparently can't get them herself. Marbles. Why marbles? Why do you even need them? Have you lost yours? Get it? Anyway. So yeah, I'm not gonna like describe the whole video or nothing, but basically, at one part in the video, Markiplier specifically said, "Man, what house did they get these pictures from? This is awful! This is horrible! Who'd live here?" And you know what? I just realized it sounded almost exactly like that. I have a good Markiplier impression. Well, not that good, but yeah, the game is based off of real pictures taken somewhere on this earth of some really crappy building that is abandoned, it's ugly, it's hideous. He was like, man, if this is a real house somewhere, I feel sorry for the people that live there. Well, it would still be better than being completely homeless, right? I guess. I mean, and it's possible that nobody actually lives there, but that always came to my mind when I watched this way back 9 years ago. Where is this house located? Like, seriously, where? I'd like to know. There's like billions of buildings on this planet. I'd like to know where this one specific one out of all of them is located. Forget the police station. I don't need to know where that crap is, even if there's some creepy guy driving behind me, following me everywhere I go. I just want to know where this one place, in this one online web browser game is. I'm that much of a lowlife. Well, believe it or not, I might know the answer. You see, it's actually pretty extraordinary once you figure out something that you've been wondering for many, many years. But that extraordinariness, if that's even a word, will go away very quickly. So I want to believe that cellar door takes place in Denmark. You're probably thinking, where the hell did you come up with that? Well, there's one part in the video where Markiplier looks out the window and he's like on the 3rd floor or something, and he was basically like, oh, can I jump out here to my death? And in the game, some ghostly voice just started saying, jump. But if you were to pause it at that moment in the video, I know it's really dark because it takes place during the nighttime, but if you look closely at the neighboring buildings, they look like Denmark buildings. Just Google Denmark and then look at this, and you'll see, hey, that kind of looks like Denmark. You know what? I have more evidence to back this up. There's also a part in the video where Markiplier reads some text on the wall or something, and he's wondering if it was Swedish or something. But a ton of people in the comments were saying it was Danish, which means Denmark. So yeah, I'm not saying I'm positive, but I'm led to believe this really sucky ass building is in Denmark, if it's even still up. That's not going to tell us when the building was built, but I don't care about that. It's probably like a long time ago anyway. I mean, the pieces fit together. The surrounding buildings, if you look at them close enough, they look like Denmark buildings, and people in the comments were like saying the text is Danish. It takes place in Denmark. It's a country in Europe. And it's even smaller than the US state I live in, Oklahoma. It's that tiny. There's a lot of tiny countries in Europe. So yeah, if you're ever wondering where the cellar door building takes place, Denmark. That makes the most sense to me, and I'm willing to bet that's where it takes place. So let me know what you guys think about this episode. Was it worth it? Did you learn anything? Or was it just an excuse to have an episode for Halloween? Whatever the case may be, get spooked.